Hey everybody, Dr. Chris here. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Today we got talk number 2 in our hormone series. Okay, if you remember back to our first talk just in generalities about how hormones are related to hunger and fullness and appetite. And then we drilled down a little bit more on ghrelin, which comes from the stomach. And you'll remember me saying, of all the hormones we know that affect weight, the only one that increases hunger was the ghrelin we talked about last time. All the rest of them decrease hunger. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some of those hormones that decrease hunger. I'm going to give you a few simple tips on how we can manipulate these hormones to help with your hunger, increase your fullness, and hopefully help you out with some of your health and wellness goals. Okay, so last time we started with the stomach. Today we're going to move down a little bit and get into the intestines. So there are 3 hormones in particular that I'm going to mention today. So the first one, CCK, cholecystokinase. Don't have to remember that at all. Forget it already, but CCK. And so this is a short-acting hormone. After you eat, it's secreted, it goes up. Specifically, it's secreted after you eat fat and protein, okay? Within 15, 30 minutes, the level goes up, comes back down, and it works both in the gut, in the intestines, and up in the brain, okay? So in the intestines, it says, hey, body, we're good. Let's slow down. Let's absorb what we got here. You don't have to be hungry. And then up in the brain, it decreases appetite. Okay, so cholecystokinase, use it to your advantage. All right, we'll talk about how in a minute here. Second one I want to mention is called GLP-1. GLP stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. Again, you heard it, erase it from your brain, you don't need to know it. But GLP-1, and GLP-1 is secreted after you eat also, like CCK, but instead of being released when you eat fat and protein, it's released after you eat carbohydrate. Okay, and it works similarly in the intestines as the CCK, and then it says slow down. Okay, so you have food here, let's absorb it, let's take our time. You don't need to be hungry, things are moving through a little slower. It decreases appetite. Okay, now one thing that's not fair about GLP-1 is that people who have excess weight, excess unhealthy weight, fat and adipose tissue, they have lower levels of GLP-1. So when they eat, especially carbohydrates in particular, they don't get as much of a response from GLP-1, and so they feel less full. Someone who's lean, they can eat more carbohydrate and feel satiated. Hey, yeah, I'm good. I had enough. My GLP levels are all right. But if you have weight issues, you eat carbohydrates, you might be a little less hungry, but not as much because your GLP levels are lower. So let's get some of that adipose tissue, let's get some of that fat tissue off of you, and then your GLP levels might go up and you'll be fuller sooner, okay? So that's CCK, GLP-1, and the last one is peptide YY, PYY, all these letters, okay? Again, don't need to know that. This one's kind of straightforward. It's secreted a little bit lower down in the intestines after you eat, and same kind of thing. It slows things down in the intestines, okay? So these 3 things, and that's, sounds fairly simple, but that's how they work, okay? And these 3 things you can use to your advantage. Some of this is gonna sound like common sense, but now understanding the background, you'll know why they work, and you can actually do them, okay? Some simple stuff is so simple, you say, why do I even bother? But let me tell you, this is something you probably heard a million times. Eat slowly, right? So that actually works, okay? So if you eat slowly, the food gets down into your stomach, and there's a little time delay. Remember with CCK, I said 15 to 30 minutes. So when you eat, if you're taking your time, that first bit of food gets down into the intestines, CCK starts coming out, and then it slows down your intestines, sends a signal to your brain that you're not as hungry and that you're full, okay? And that works the same for the other 2 hormones as well. So slow down. Take your time with eating, okay? And that's tough to do in our society when you're rushing to this place or that place. You gotta eat on the move, whatever. But ideally, you slow down and take your time, okay? The second thing, kind of along the same lines of eating slowly and taking your time, is have more fiber, okay? Almost everyone needs more fiber. Almost nobody gets enough fiber. I tell everyone, get enough fiber. Okay, so men, 20 to 25 grams a day, women, 25 to 30 grams a day. What does this have to do with the hormones I'm talking about? Well, fiber slows down how quickly you absorb food, okay? So if you're very slowly absorbing food, it's passing through slowly, you feel fuller sooner, okay? So use these hormones to your advantage. They're there. You got them. Use them to feel full sooner. Okay? So ways you can do that. The main thing is to slow down how quickly you're eating. Get some fiber so that food gets absorbed more slowly. And then if you can, lose some weight, lose healthy weight, okay? If your weight's higher than it should be, lose some unhealthy weight so that you can take full advantage of your GLP-1 levels, get them up a little bit, okay? So that's session number 2. Remember, session 1, we did ghrelin from the stomach. Session 2 today, we talked about intestine hormones. Next, we're gonna get into pancreas hormones. And then we got fat tissue, adipose tissue hormones, and then the final talk is going to be about all the stuff that's going on up here on different pathways. All right, so it's exciting stuff. Hope you learned something, got at least 1 or 2 practical points in, and we'll talk to you next time in session 3. Dr. Chris, we'll see you next time. Be sure to schedule your free 30-minute initial phone consultation by sending me an email or by visiting our website at refinedwellnessconsulting.com.